All right, we are back with insider betting. If I'm being honest here, we're recording this episode a week early. I'm going on a little trip. We're getting this out of the way. So we're recording this as of August 28th, which is about a week and a half out. So odds might change. Prop bets will show up. We don't have those yet, unfortunately, but it's okay. We're still going to give you our picks. We're still going to give you the analysis, and you can kind of go from there. I'll give you some prop picks that I would probably look out for here. But anyway, Jesse, appreciate you joining me, brother. How's it going?
Doing well. Where are you? You're going to Yosemite? You're going to Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a road trip to Yellowstone. It's about a 15-hour drive there and then 15 back, but some cool things along the way,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Well, I'll be locked into the UFC Apex when you're there. I'll be locked in. But yeah, if anything changes, it's not our fault. But the thing is, when you give them that warning, it doesn't really matter because if we film these on a Wednesday, they weigh in on a Friday. If one of these guys miss weight, all of these things are going to change anyway. So it's like, hey, who cares?
It's true. Things can happen. But anyway, these are early predictions.
Great main event. Very good main event.
Yeah. Very good main event. I agree. Going into the first fight of the main event, we have, or the main card, sorry, not the main event. We have Rong versus Chris Padilla. Rong was in the UFC. He had like a 1-2 run in the UFC, and then he went back to a smaller promotion called UAE Warriors, and now he's back in the UFC where he's 3-0 since. Then you have Chris Padilla, who's on a 4-fight win streak. He's 14-6. He's got 7 KOs, 5 submissions. It feels like we have like a redemption run for Rong, and then Chris Padilla might be this like new guy who's trying to make his way up the ladder because he's only had a few fights in the UFC, or I think he's only 1-0 in the UFC actually. But Rong is actually the younger guy. He's 24 years old. I guess he must have been like super young when he originally joined the UFC. He's got 15 knockouts out of his 25 wins, which is very impressive. I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. I originally was leaning towards Zhu. He's on a 3-fight win streak. It seems like the obvious bet. But then I looked at the striking numbers and I saw that although Zhu lands 5.47 strikes per minute, he actually absorbs 5.6. So he gets hit more than he hits. So that means he has a lot of pressure, but when he goes on the back foot, he gets hit a lot. Is kind of what it looks like here. And then Chris Padilla has got 9.89 takedowns average per fight, which is crazy. I guess it's only been the one fight, obviously, but 9 takedowns is crazy. He's got 100% takedown accuracy, and he's got no takedown defense, I'm assuming, because nobody's ever tried to take him down. But I do think he's going to be able to mix in his ground game along with his, like, I don't even know if I can call his game on the feet decent, but I think his ground game will be enough to kind of take Zhu down a few times. Fight's probably going to go to decision. Zhu's probably going to pressure him heavy, and when Chris Padilla gets Zhu on the back foot, he's going to take him down to the ground and just kind of hold him there. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I was looking at the odds, and just FYI, DraftKings does have odds in this fight: -278 for Zhu, +225 for Padilla.
Yeah.
My first instinct was Zhu, but I kind of like the odds on Padilla. It's a close one. I could see Zhu giving Padilla some serious problems on the feet, just based on everything I'm looking on their sure dogs right now. Padilla doesn't seem to be up to the striking of Zhu. Zhu definitely has some better striking, it seems. It's close. But I like the odds on Padilla, but I don't know. I think I'm actually. Oh, Padilla has the same exact birthday as me, by the way, September 14th. Sure, Padilla, we have the same birthday. There you go. Lock it
in. Easiest way to make a pick, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, same birthday. Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's my analysis for this fight.
Hey, man, sometimes fights are like that.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with insider betting. But first things first, NFL is almost back. And as an official DraftKings partner, who is an official NFL partner, if you're a new DraftKings customer, all you have to do is place a $5 bet. You will receive $250 in bonus bets instantly, along with a month's worth of NFL Plus Premium. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code INSIDEFIGHTING, and you'll receive your promo offer. All right, and the next fight we have coming up is Trevor Peek versus Yanal Ashmouz. You have Trevor Peek, who he's got 8 knockouts out of his 9 wins. He has 2 losses in his last 3 fights, where before that he was on an 8-fight winning streak. He's 2-2 in the UFC. He's got a recent loss versus Charlie Campbell. He's fighting against Yanal Ashmouz, who's 7-1. He's 1-1 in the UFC. He's coming off of a loss to Chris Duncan. He's got 4 knockouts. Like, you look statistically, like you look at this graphic, and Peek just looks better all around, just everywhere. When you watch him fight, he's definitely not the most. That was weird.
What's up?
No, sorry. This came up. I accidentally clicked this. And I was like, why does it say thank you?
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, we can cut that out later. But yeah, he doesn't look the most technically gifted. Yanal Ashmouz coming off of a loss. Like, neither of these guys seem like they're going to be these crazy UFC superstars. It's the odd makers clearly think this is going to be an even fight. It's a good chance it does go to knockout. I think that what's going to happen is that Trevor is going to keep pushing Yanal. I think Yanal is going to be a little bit more calm and collected. I think if Trevor can get a knockout win, which is very likely, he's got 8 knockouts in his 9 wins, he's going to beat Yanal. I think that if Yanal is going to win, he's probably just going to carry the fight to decision slowly. And just kind of piece them together. But yeah, tough one to call. But I think I'm leaning towards Yanal Ashmouz here.
Sorry, my dog was bugging me. Yeah, this is a tough one because Peek's a little bit of a fan favorite. People like this guy. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's got a good personality.
Very fun.
He just lays it all out there. You don't ever get a boring Trevor Peek fight, which is both entertaining but also scary to bet on, unfortunately, because he leaves himself open. I don't think you'll ever really see him be a massive favorite for that reason. Will you guys stop it? Sorry, my dog's going crazy. Takedown accuracy, takedown defense. This is close in everything here. 5.35 strikes absorbed for Yanal. I don't love that, if I'm being honest.
That was my standout as well, because Peek's high pressure, and if he's landing, it's a problem.
And I could see Peek also winning by decision because of that. Even if Yanal, carries the fight a little bit with like some grappling control time, if Peek is landing a lot and he gets some damage in, I could see that being a problem for Yanal. I'll take Trevor Peek. I would just bet money line. I think. Yeah. I think he's due for a win too. I think this is like kind of a fun matchup for him. It's close. I mean, I don't know anything about Yanal Ashmouz. I got to be honest. So like, I could be like way off here, but I'm just taking Trevor Peek because I know who he is. That's just kind of me being honest here. But I also think he's going to land more.
Yeah, I like that. Matt Schnell versus Alessandro Costa. Alessandro Costa is a massive favorite. The biggest favorite on the card. He's a -4, or at least on the main card, -45 favorite versus a +370 underdog for Matt Schnell. They're both coming off of recent losses to Steve Urseg. Costa has a win over Kevin Boryaz recently, and Matt Schnell also has a loss to Mateos Nicolau recently as well. Yeah, it's a weird fight. I think Schnell will need the fight to be on the ground for him to win. Like, you can see it when you look at the stats here. That's kind of where he dominates a little bit. I think Costa also has just more power in general with 5 KOs and 6 submissions. Schnell has 9 submissions in his 16 wins. So I think on the ground kind of favors Schnell. But at the same time, you got 90% takedown defense for Costa. Statistically, he's not superior anywhere. He's a little bit worse when it comes to landing strikes, but he's better when it comes to absorbing them. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I think I don't know enough about these guys to bet against Costa, so I'm going with Costa.
Yeah, as soon as I saw this matchup, I thought there's no way Matt Schnell is a favorite. And not only is he not a favorite, he's a massive underdog.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out here that out of the 2 losses for Costa, his last 4 fights, they've been against guys that are going to be that are fighting for a title, like Amir Albazi, back in 2022, and then Steve Erceg just last year.
Yeah.
So those are good losses to have. And he did get KO'd by Amir Albazi, but he lost decision to Erceg. So, you know, if you look at, he's 2-2 in his last 4, yeah, but he lost 2 against guys that are going to be fighting for a title. So it's like, there's no shame in that. Matt Schnell, his chin is absolutely gone. And I say that with as much respect as I possibly can. He's been knocked out twice in his last, that Steve Erceg knockout was brutal. It's one of the more brutal knockouts you'll ever see. And this is a flyweight fight, you know, flyweight punching. And that dude got brutally knocked out. His chin is gone. I have no reason to bet any money on Matt Schnell here. I'm being a little hard on him, but I think you'd be wasting money if you put any money on Matt Schnell in this fight, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That's my bet.
I agree.
Alessandro Costa. I'm not going to touch it because it's just it's not good odds. Throw him in a parlay.
No, exactly. Throw in a parlay with a KO there. I think that's the way to go. Steve Garcia versus Kyle Nelson. Decent fight, considering Kyle Nelson is 16-5 and he's on a 3-fight win streak and a 4-fight unbeaten streak. He's got a draw in there. I think it's a decent matchup. He's plus 150. He has a win over Bill Algeo, but it was a controversial win. I don't remember watching the fight, but I was reading up on it, and it was like Bill Algeo just wasn't fully knocked out. Like it was kind of like the Cannonier stoppage where like the guy's still on his feet and the ref comes in here too soon. So a bit of a controversial win, but a win nonetheless. You have Steve Garcia, though, who's got 13 knockouts and his 16 wins, and he's currently on a 4-fight win and knockout streak. So he's been knocking opponents out left and right. I just see Garcia finishing with a knockout. I don't know why. I don't think he's that much significantly better than Kyle Nelson, but I just I see the streak continuing here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up their Sherdog pages right now. My first thoughts on Nelson was that the UFC kind of likes Nelson. They had him fighting Calvin Kattar, and then that fight he was supposed to be fighting Calvin Kattar this card, but then that fight got canceled because Kattar had to pull out for injury. So they do like Kyle Nelson. I think they like his fight style. He's got a lot of decisions lately, but coming off of a big first-round knockout in his last fight, you know, this is close. The odds are indicative of that. Steve Garcia. Yeah, I mean, he is a knockout artist. I'm just I'm looking at how many times Kyle Nelson's been knocked out. He has been knocked out by Billy Quarantillo and Diego Ferreira. I like your bet. Don't bet money line. Bet Garcia by knockout.
Yeah, I just think when you look at these guys' ground games, like Kyle Nelson's got decent ground game. His accuracy isn't the best. He's got good defense. He's got a good takedown average. But Garcia's got 88% takedown defense, and then he lands 5 per minute, and he only absorbs 2.5. So he absorbs half the amount that he lands, which is crazy, you know? So Kyle Nelson would have to have like real knockout power, I think, to knock out Garcia. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I don't think that Kyle Nelson is going to try to take this fight to the ground necessarily. I think he likes to stand, which favors Garcia. Yeah, it's a close one. I mean, I don't think Kyle Nelson is in any way like not a live dog here. I think he is a live dog for sure. I'd like Garcia by knockout. Plus, he's on a hot streak. His confidence is going. It's tough to bet against that.
I agree. Co-main event of the night. We have women's flyweight fight. It's another one of those. Got a lot of those recently, and we talked about it on the last insider betting episode. But it's like the vet versus up and comer going at it. You know, you have Jessica Andrade, former champion. She was on a pretty bad losing streak. I think she was on a 3-fight losing streak, and now just recently she's won 2 fights in a row against Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern. Decent wins there. But then you have Natalia Silva, 11-fight win streak, 5 knockouts, 7 submissions, 17 wins. It's funny because you look at the stats and you're like, Natalia is inferior in every single category. But the numbers aren't always everything. And I think it's going to be one of those scenarios where the young up and comer is gonna beat the vet, unfortunately for Jessica Andrade, but I just think it's Natalia Silva's time. I think it's gonna give her a title contention fight, probably, possibly even a title fight. And I think it'd be a massive win for her, and I think she's gonna take advantage of the moment.
This might be where you and I split. I'm looking at here. Yes, she's younger than Andrade, but Andrade's former champion, and Andrade is like hungry. I think Andrade is like still trying to become champion. She's obviously Silva's on a nice little run here. She does have some very impressive wins, no question about it. But Andrade just knocked out Mackenzie Dern in her last fight, and she looked damn good doing it. I believe, who did she fight before that? I'm like looking. I can't find
No,
her
she went to
career
the decision with Marina Rodriguez in her last fight, but she knocked out during the fight before that.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Oh, split
Yeah.
decision too. Tatiana Suarez, she got choked out. Yan Jianan. I don't know. I like the odds for Andrade just because she's so good. Definitely older, definitely reaching, time to shit or get off the pot kind of status of being able to talk about a gatekeeper. Andrade is a little bit of a gatekeeper for sure of that top five.
High level gatekeeper for being.
Yeah, but no, she is. I mean, like, because she hasn't fought for a title for a while, so she's sort of just like there now.
Yeah.
I like the odds a lot for Andrade.
I do too. When I first looked at the fight, I was actually leaning heavily towards Andrade. I was like, she's a heavy underdog. She's coming off of 2 wins. She's got that dog in her. She's hungry for more right now. She's doing well. She's going to keep it going. But gut feeling tells me that intuition I have is wrong. So that's why I'm going with Natalia Silva. But this is, like, odds aside, this is the most 50-50 fight on the card, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not 50-50 odds. You're getting good value. And she lands more. She lands at a higher clip. She takes a lot more strikes. Andrade does open herself up to getting clipped like way too often. It does seem like Silva does have some power for women's flyweight, which might be a problem for Andrade here. But
she also got great takedown defense at 91%.
Yeah, I'm feeling this fight might be standing.
I think so too.
I like Andrade. I'm going to take it. I like the odds. I think this is like your best value on the card so far. I haven't looked at the odds on Gilbert Burns yet, but there you go.
Well, here they are. Main event. Gilbert Burns plus 164 underdog. Sean Brady is a minus 198 favorite. He is statistically better in every category. Both of them have recent losses to Bilal Muhammad, except Sean Brady's coming off of a win to Kelvin Gastelum, and he ragdolled him. I feel like he out-wrestled him. He did a great job on the ground. For somebody who is an elite level wrestler, being Kelvin Gastelum. Gilbert Burns is coming off of 2 losses. He lost to Bilal Muhammad, like I mentioned, but he also lost to Jack Della Maddalena, as well, which both very high quality opponents. Burns was knocked out in his last fight. That's something that I noticed in the fight. Like, I didn't realize how quick of a turnaround it is. For a typical fighter, it's not a quick turnaround, but Burns being 38 years old and being knocked out only 6 months ago, I think is a pretty quick turnaround to be coming up against a guy like Sean Brady, who also has some of that power to be able to knock you down, knock you out, whatever. I think it's Sean Brady. I think that's the way it's going to go. I think he's going to grapple him. I think he's going to beat him on the ground, even though Gilbert Burns is a very high-level grappler. Just the way I see the fight playing out.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns was winning that fight against Jack Della Maddalena up until getting knocked out. I think it was the 3rd round actually where he got knocked out. And it was like a buzzer beater too. I'm pretty sure it was like within like a minute left. Burns got knocked out, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you mentioned that.
I think you're right.
Very good matchup. Very good main event. I love Durinho. He's an awesome fighter. He's an awesome guy. I think you're getting great odds with him. But I also think you're getting pretty good money line odds on Sean Brady, who's just kind of like got everything Gilbert Burns has got at this point in his career, but he's 7 years younger. Longer reach.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't seem like a good matchup for Burns here.
Burns hasn't actually shown. Sorry, go ahead.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I was gonna say that Burns had like we haven't seen like in quality like the quality we didn't need from him like very recently. You know, like Elena, close fight, did get knocked out. Bilal Muhammad went to decision. His last win is over Jorge Masvidal. The win before that is Neil Magny. He's got a loss to Hamza Chimaev. So he's fighting high level guys, but he's beating the lower level guys.
Right.
You know, so it's a tough one. Like he's got a win over Wonder Boy in 2021 there. And then before that, his win is against Tyron Woodley, you know, so we just haven't seen him beat a high level guy in a long time. We've seen him fight high level guys, but all the high level guys he fights, he ends up losing to for the most part.
And even like fighting Masvidal, that was like a boring unanimous decision win.
Yeah.
Brady, I don't know if he'll finish Burns or not, though. I mean, it would be submission, I think, if he does.
I don't think he finishes him either.
I could see decision being an option. We don't, the odds aren't there yet, so I'd imagine that the odds are like plus 150 for decision or something like that. It's going to probably be something like that, but yeah, that's how I'd probably bet it.
Yeah, at the very least, I'll take the over on the rounds.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But anyway, that is UFC Apex, Burns versus Brady. I think it'll be a fun Apex card, especially right before the Sphere card. But as always, Jesse, I appreciate you joining me, brother. And we'll be back. We'll be back for UFC 306. I think that'll be the most fun one to talk about anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's that card's going to be insane. So we'll look forward to that one.
Crazy card. And happy early birthday, Jesse. Spam happy birthday, Jesse, in the comments.
Yeah,
okay. Anyway, see you next week, brother.
Peace.